Hello, everyone. Today we are walking through a quiet neighborhood early in the morning. The air is crisp, your shoes tap lightly on the sidewalk, and the sun hasn't fully risen yet. There's something peaceful about this hour before the city wakes up. Birds chirp like they're whispering secrets. You can almost hear your own thoughts echo off the sleepy buildings. And then you see it. A small folded note flutters by your foot like it's chasing your attention. You stop, pick it up. It says, "Meet me at 9. Let's talk. Practice English." No name, no number, just that. Mysterious, right? You check your phone. It's 7:43 a.m. You've got time, but you also have questions. Who left it? Where's the meeting spot? And most importantly, how do you even start a conversation in English with a stranger? So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you really like what I do here. And while you're here, comment below. Where are you watching from, and what time is it there right now? Now, let's focus. Let's start our next journey together. You head toward the park where you usually walk your dog. Well, if you had one. You smile at the idea. The trees stand still, but the wind plays with the leaves like it's trying to say something. You mumble aloud, "Hello, my name is, I'm learning English." You try it again, adding a smile to your voice. That's how you learn English easily. Memorize it for beginners. You practice out loud, when no one's watching, when your brain is still soft like morning light. You're not afraid to sound silly. You're playing with the language, and that's how fluency begins. You reach the park bench where you once saw an old man feeding birds. Nobody's here now, except for a girl with red sneakers. Are you here for the note?" you ask. She looks up, blinks, then smiles. "Yes, you found it," she says, with a small accent. Her English isn't perfect, but that makes you feel better. I found it near the bakery," you say, pointing behind you. "It say, practice English. I want to." "Perfect," she nods. "Let's practice." So simple, so strange, and somehow so natural. You sit side by side like you've always done this, and the first thing she asks is, "How are you?" And now it begins. Let's pause a moment here. "How are you" is one of the most common greetings in English, but people rarely answer it deeply. Most often we say, "I'm good, thanks. How about you?" Not because we're always good, but because it's polite. It's like a dance, one step, then another. But today, you want to try something different. You say, "I feel nervous, but excited, and a little cold." She laughs, very honest. You both laugh now. Laughter is a universal language. You don't need to translate it. You learn a new word from her, shiver. She says, "When you feel cold and your body move like this," and she shakes her shoulders like a cartoon. "Shiver," you repeat. That's your word of the day, shiver. Funny, useful, easy to remember. Like a secret code you just unlocked. She helps you with pronunciation. You repeat after her. "I am cold. I feel a shiver. Do you want coffee?" "Wait, what?" She points to the cafe across the street. "Do you want coffee?" she repeats. "We can sit and talk." You're surprised, not just by the offer, but by how naturally you understood her question. That's the first little victory. That tiny moment when you realize your ears are starting to hear real English. As you cross the street together, you start to notice something else. You're not translating in your head anymore. You're listening for meaning. Not every word, just the feeling of the sentence. You reach the cafe, open the door, and the smell of coffee and pastries fills your nose. You look at the menu. Uh-oh, words everywhere. Some you know, some you think you know, and some that sound like magical spells. Espresso, macchiato, Americano, flat white. You turn to her. What you drink, you ask. She points. I get latte. You try one? You nod. Okay, one latte, please. The barista smiles. Small or large? You panic. Your brain freezes. Small or large sounds like smallish to your ears. She leans over and whispers. Size, small or big? Oh, small, please. You both laugh again. The cafe smells like warm milk and roasted dreams. You stir your latte, watching the foam swirl like tiny clouds on a brown sky. Outside the window, people are walking by, heads down, jackets zipped, earbuds in, like they're all in their own movies. Across from you, your new English partner, let's just call her Red Shoes, leans in and says, let's do something fun. I ask you 10 questions, you answer, fast. You blink, fast? She nods. Yes, first answer, no think too long, okay? This is how you learn English easily. Memorize it for beginners by playing games that force your mouth to move faster than your fear. She grins. Ready? You nod. Ready. Favorite color? Blue. Coffee or tea? Coffee. Summer or winter? Winter. Dog or cat? Dog. She raises her eyebrows. Wow, you're good. You shrug, then laugh. No think, just say. Exactly, she says. That's how I learn English. I talk to myself in mirror. You imagine her at home, pointing to the mirror and saying, you like apples? To her own reflection. It's silly and brilliant. Then it happens. You hear a voice behind the counter call, next, please. But they say it so fast, it sounds like next, please. You freeze. You look around. Red Shoes whispers, it's okay, that's just how they say it. You whisper back, why not say slowly? She grins, because real English is lazy. And you get it. That's your listening lesson of the day. Real spoken English is not what you hear in textbooks. Native speakers squish words. Did you eat becomes "G eat." What are you doing becomes "What you doing." It's not wrong, it's natural. And the trick? Stop listening for every word. Start listening for the feeling, the sound, the beat of the sentence. Now it's your turn to ask questions. You look at her. Why you like English? She sips her coffee. Because I love stories and movies, and one day I want to travel. You nod slowly. Same. Then you ask, how long you study? She answers, 3 years, but not every day, just little by little. You look surprised. Your English is very good. She smiles like it's not a compliment, just something warm she can hold on to. Thank you, she says, but I make mistake every day. Then she looks at you and says something you'll remember for a long time. You don't get fluent when you stop making mistakes. You get fluent when you stop being afraid of them. You want to write that down in your brain. The barista brings over another coffee. You both thank him, and you notice the way Red Shoes says it. Thank you, with a high voice and a smile. You try copying her. Thank you. The barista chuckles. You're welcome. Victory. This is how you speak better, not by studying grammar for 5 hours, but by noticing how people sound, how they smile when they speak, how their tone changes. Outside, the wind is picking up. Leaves dance across the sidewalk. Red Shoes checks her phone. I have class soon. You feel something, a little tug of sadness. But then she says, do you want to walk me to the subway? You nod. Yes. You both throw away your cups and push open the cafe door. The world feels louder now and brighter, like English has added subtitles to your surroundings. As you walk, she points to things. That's a mailbox. This is a streetlight. Over there, that's a crosswalk. And you repeat like a little echo. Mailbox, streetlight, crosswalk. Perfect, she says. You speak like a local now. You laugh. No way. Yes way, she replies. You reach the subway stairs. She stops. I have idea, she says. Tomorrow, same cafe, you order coffee. Alone. You stare at her. Alone? She nods. Yes, Don't worry, I'll watch from far. You laugh nervously. Like spy? Yes, she says, like English spy, but good spy. Then she pulls out her notebook, tears a small page, and writes one word. Confident. She hands it to you. This is your word tomorrow. Use it. You look at the paper. Confident. It sounds like armor, like a magic word. As she disappears into the subway crowd, you hold on to the note. It feels important, like a clue in a treasure hunt. You start walking home. The sky is cloudy now, but it doesn't feel gray. It feels possible. Because today, you didn't just practice English. You spoke it, you listened, you played, you laughed. And most importantly, you weren't perfect, but you were brave. The next morning, you wake up early. Too early. You lie in bed, staring at the ceiling, repeating the word, confident, confident, confident. It doesn't sound like you, not yet. But you decide to wear it anyway, like a jacket that's a little too big but still keeps you warm. By 8:30 a.m., you're standing outside the same cafe. Your hands are sweaty, your heart is doing tiny backflips. You scan the windows, but don't see her. She said she'd be watching, but all you see is your reflection in the glass, and you don't look confident. You open the door anyway. A tiny bell jingles overhead. You step up to the counter. The barista looks up. Hi, what can I get you? Boom, there it is. The moment. You clear your throat. One small latte, please. Anything else? You blink. No, thank you. He types it in. $4.50. You hand him the cash. He gives you a receipt and smiles. Name for the order. You freeze. What's your name? Wait, why is that question hard? You say your name, slowly, carefully. He nods. Great, I'll call you when it's ready. You step aside, heart still racing. And that's how you learn English easily. Memorize it for beginners, not by getting every word perfect, but by walking straight into the moment and surviving it. And today, you did. You find a corner seat, pull out your phone, pretend to scroll, but you're really listening. You hear words float through the cafe like puzzle pieces. Skim milk, double shot, room for cream. Awesome, thanks. None of them are in your textbook, but somehow you're starting to understand. And that's when you spot her. Red shoes, outside the window, holding up two thumbs like a referee signaling a goal. You smile like you just passed a test you didn't study for. You hear your name. You grab your drink, it's warm in your hands. You walk out the door with your coffee, heart still buzzing. She meets you at the corner. You did it, she says. I think I did. You know you did, she laughs. And then she points to the bench across the street. Come, I teach you something new. You sit down, and she pulls out that same notebook. This time, there's a small hand-drawn map inside. She says, let's practice giving directions. You groan? Ugh, directions hard. She shakes her head. No, easy, if you imagine it. She draws a street, a coffee shop, a bank, a bus stop. Then she says, okay, you ask me. So you say, excuse me, where is the bank? She traces the line with her pen. Go straight, then turn left. It's next to the bakery. You repeat, go straight, turn left, next to bakery. Good, she says. Now make it full sentence. You try again. Go straight, then turn left. The bank is next to the bakery. She claps. Perfect. That's your English tip of the day. Use location words like next to, across from, near, and between. And always say excuse me first. It makes you sound polite, even if the rest is messy. She flips the notebook. Now it's your turn. You tell me where the bus stop is. You think, then speak. Go straight, and the bus stop is across the street from the library. She nods. Yes, and don't forget, add a smile. You laugh. Smile is part of sentence? Always, she says, in every language. The map becomes a game. You start making up places. A dragon pizza shop, a flying bookstore, a music fountain that only plays Beyoncé. The sillier the place, the more fun the practice. And somewhere between the ice cream zoo and the dancing dog cafe, you realize you're not afraid of speaking anymore. You're having fun. You check the time. Already 10? She nods. Time fly when brain work. You repeat it. Time flies when brain works. Almost, she says. It's time flies when you're having fun. Common phrase. I like that. Another phrase saved in your memory like a souvenir. She says, I have to go, but tomorrow let's practice phone call, okay? You freeze. Phone call? Yes, you call me. Talk for 2 minutes. English only. You panic. Your eyes go wide. No! She smiles. Yes, you must. And then she pulls out another tiny note and writes one word. Listen. That's tomorrow's word, she says. When we talk, you don't just speak, you listen and reply. You pocket the note. Listen. Suddenly, it feels bigger than just English. It feels like advice for life. You part ways again, this time with your map in hand and 2 new words in your head. Confident. Listen. And a question in your heart. What else can I do now that I'm not scared anymore? Because something is changing. And it's not just your vocabulary. The next morning, the phone call sits in your mind like a blinking cursor. Just 2 minutes, she said. Just English. But somehow, it feels bigger than that. Like you're about to step into a spotlight with no script. Still, you press the call button anyway. It rings. Once. Twice. Then her voice. Hello? Your throat tightens, but you remember the word in your pocket. Listen. So you do. You hear her breathing softly, waiting, no rush. So you speak. Hello, this is me. Wait, that sounds like a song lyric. She chuckles. Yes, I know. Good start. I want to practice call, like we plan. Perfect, she says. Let's talk. How's your morning? You freeze, then answer slowly. My morning is good. I drink tea, I open window, the sky is blue. It's simple, but it's real. That's how you learn English easily. Memorize it for beginners, not by saying big words, but by saying small words that are true. She replies, nice, I also drink tea, and I hear birds. You both pause. That moment where you're talking about nothing, but it feels like everything. She says, now ask me something. You hesitate, then try. What do you eat for breakfast? Toast and 1 banana. You laugh. Banana is good. This is the rhythm of beginner conversation. Question, answer, smile, repeat. And it works, because the goal isn't grammar, it's connection. You start to relax. She asks, do you like calling people? You pause. No, I like texting. Same, she replies, but calls help ears. You nod, even though she can't see you. Then she says, I must go now, but you did very good. No, very well. You correct yourself under your breath. Very well. She laughs. You even correct your grammar now? You're dangerous. And just like that, the call ends. You stare at the screen. A 2-minute conversation, but it leaves you smiling for hours. Later that afternoon, you decide to try your English again. This time, not with her, with a real person, a stranger. You head to the grocery store. Mission, buy 5 things, using only English. You walk in like a spy. Item 1, apples. You know this word. Easy win. Item 2, milk. Done. Then comes trouble. You need something sweet. You look around. See a box of cookies, but they're labeled biscuits. You frown. Biscuits. You ask the woman beside you, excuse me, this is cookies? She looks at you kindly. Yes, in British English, but here we say cookies. Oh, you nod. Thank you. That's your vocabulary lesson today. English has many flavors. British, American, even Australian. And words don't always mean what you think. Next, toothpaste, but you can't find it. So you ask a store employee, hello, where is teeth soap? He blinks. Sorry? You realize, no, I mean for brush teeth. He smiles. Toothpaste, aisle 5. You thank him, feeling your cheeks burn. And then you laugh, because that mistake, it's perfect. You'll never forget the word toothpaste again. Item 4, eggs. You almost say children of chickens, but stop yourself. Final item, rice. Easy, until you realize there are 50 types. Long grain, short grain, jasmine, basmati. You panic. Pick one, whisper, surprise me. At the counter, the cashier says, "Did you find everything okay?" You respond, "Yes, I find everything good." He gives a half smile. Great, that'll be $12.60. You hand him cash. He says, "Do you need a bag?" You freeze. He holds up a plastic bag. You nod fast. "Yes, bag please." Walking home with groceries in one hand and pride in the other, you think about how far you've come. Not in vocabulary, not in grammar, but in courage. That's the lesson. Language isn't a skill. It's a risk. And today, you took it. That night, you get a message from Red Shoes. Tomorrow, we try story. You speak, I listen. You stare at the screen. A story? You message back. Okay, I try. Then you pull out your notebook, and you write, "Today, I bought cookies, but they were called biscuits. I asked about teeth soap, and he said toothpaste. I learned that being wrong is part of getting better." You underline the word better, because the next morning, you sit in your room with a pencil in your mouth, not to chew it, but to practice pronunciation. Red Shoes texted again. Tell a story. 1 minute. Speak slow, no script, just memory. You stare at your reflection in the mirror. You feel silly, but you do it anyway. Okay, you say to yourself, I tell you story about a cookie? No, a biscuit. You laugh. This is how you learn English easily. Memorize it for beginners, by talking to yourself like a friendly ghost in your own house. You clear your throat. I go to store. I want cookie, but it say biscuit. I ask woman, this is cookie? She say yes, but British. You continue, slowly, each word a step on a wobbly bridge. I buy teeth soap, but no, it is toothpaste. Man laugh, I remember. You stop, smile. That's your story. That's your voice. Later, you meet Red Shoes at the food court in the mall. She's already at a table, sipping juice through a curly straw like it's a science experiment. You ready? She asks. You nod. Okay, tell me. One story, real story, any story. You take a deep breath. Begin. I go to store. I want 5 things. Apple, milk, toothpaste, egg, rice. She nods, encouraging. I see biscuit. I ask, this is cookie? She say, yes. I say thank you. You're smiling now. It's real. The words are jumping out of your mouth like kids on a trampoline. Then I say, teeth soap. Man say, what? I say, brush teeth. He say, toothpaste. She laughs so loud people turn to look. You finish. I learn. I never forget. Now I know toothpaste. Forever. She claps. That was amazing. You blink. Really? Yes, because it was you, real you, mistakes and all, and funny. And just like that, you feel taller. That's your English guide today. When you tell your story, people don't care if it's perfect. They care if it's true. She grabs her food, a big tray of noodles. You look at the menu. There's too many choices. You point. I want this. The server asks, spicy or mild? You freeze. You look at Red Shoes. She mouths, mild. It means not spicy. Oh, mild please. Success. You add another word to your memory today, mild. It's not just about flavor, it's about choice. And you chose to speak. As you both eat, she says, tell me another thing. Another thing? Yes, something you learned today. You pause, then say, I learn when I talk, I think less. That's good, because too much think is no speak. She grins. Exactly. Then she says, let's play a speaking game. You raise an eyebrow. Game? Yes, it's called Two Truths and One Lie. You nod slowly. Okay, what that? You say 3 things. 2 are true, 1 is not. I guess the lie. You think, then say, okay, 1, I speak 3 languages. 2, I never eat sushi. 3, I love dogs. She stares at you. You do love dogs. That's true. You nod. You eat sushi. Everyone eats sushi. You nod again. So, 3 languages is a lie? You grin. No, sushi is lie. I never eat. She gasps. Never. You must. You both laugh so hard your noodles nearly fly off the tray. That's today's bonus phrase. 2 truths and 1 lie. A fun way to practice speaking, share your story, and confuse your friends at the same time. You tell her, I want play this with new friend in English. She gives you a thumbs up. You will. When you finish eating, she pulls out her notebook, writes down, story. Today's word, she says. You told one. That's a big step. You nod. Story is like picture in words. Exactly, she says. And your picture today was very funny. You check your phone. Time's almost up. She says, tomorrow, let's try something hard. Fast listening. You ready? You pause. Fast listening sounds scary, but then you say something surprising. Yes, I'm ready. Because the more you say yes, the more the fear turns into fuel. That night, you write in your notebook, I told my first story today. I made someone laugh. I used words I learned. I remembered biscuit and mild. And I didn't need to translate everything. And then you write,